Irish Guy, and are you ready? This is what we've been waiting for all month. The window is closed. Let's see who has won the winter window. I'm going to rank from worst to best every Premier League club's January transfer window activity. And let's just see who's had the best window and who's had a stinker. Right, let's go. 20th, Leicester City. Is this it? Like, is this it? Do Leicester City really not think they needed to buy anyone in January? If I'm Ruth Van Nistelrooy, then I'm in disbelief. Leicester needed the mother of all transfer windows to save their bacon from the drop. So for them to do nothing except buy a 25-year-old uncapped right back Wayo Koulibaly from Parma for £3 million. Sorry, that's a bit like if the captain aboard the Titanic had tried to stop the boat sinking by putting down paper towels. Van Nistelrooy should have been screaming for new signings, as the players he has at his disposal are no more talented than the cast of Teletubbies, choosing not to sign anyone other than someone less famous than a half-eaten burger. Just a complete waste of a month. You're going down. 19th Southampton. Yep, Southampton needed more too. Way more. Yeah, they brought in a couple of signings, but nah. Because of how far adrift they are, no, not good enough. They needed to go out there and have a stunking window to give them a bit of hope of a great escape. Now, you brought in France under-18 midfielder Joachim Kayasanda from Valenciennes. What's he gonna do? And 23-year-old Danish midfielder Albert Kronbach from Rennes. What is this? Can nobody see their bottom of the league? You needed way more. 18th Brighton. I don't like Brighton's transfer window because it doesn't make sense. I'm telling you lads, the Seagull squad now is weaker than it was a month ago. Last year, both Julio Enciso and Evan Ferguson were linked with Manchester City. The latter at a £100 million price tag on his head. The fact they've both been shuffled out on loan, to me that stinks. Fabian Hersler thinking he doesn't need these other starlets in his squad. It stinks of immature arrogance. This is what happens when you've got a manager who was 10 when Shark Tale came out on DVD. This is what happens when you've got a manager who probably still reports tooth fairy money to the taxman, thinking you're above the level of Ferguson and Ciso when you're the manager of Brighton and Hove Albion is wild. They brought in £11 million 21-year-old Paraguayan midfielder Diego Gomez from Inter Miami, and you just know he's gonna bore his teammates to tears by cramming selfies of Messi in their face. We get it. You've got a famous friend. Relax. You were probably the one who had to hold the camera when Messi was mobbed by fans when you were both out to lunch. What gets me though is the pointless buys. Bringing in Greek teenage striker Stefano Simas for 20 million beans? Is he really worth 20 mil? You're replacing Fergie with a 19-year-old. Just someone 1 year younger than him. It's like Leonardo DiCaprio's succession rate of girlfriends. Just gradually getting younger and younger and younger until you spot him out to dinner with one of the kids off Stranger Things. And splurging £9 million on 23-year-old defender Iran Cashin from Derby County might just be the dullest move of the window. You probably think that I'm ecstatic to see a former Republic of Ireland under-21 international defender finally get a Premier League move, but oh no, oh no, oh no! I have not forgotten this tweet. You're paying nearly 10 million quid for someone who's nearly 150 games deep into his club career and yet not a single minute in top flight footy. I don't know, Brighton are usually pretty impressive in the market, but to me, I think this is uncharacteristically yucky. Yes, yucky. I'm describing their transfer activity the same way a child might describe eating their nan's cauliflower. 17th Arsenal. Look, Arsenal did even less business than Leicester, but Leicester's need for signings was far greater than the Gunners, so that's why they're not in the relegation zone. For Arteta, yeah, they could have done with a striker, and I think if they acted earlier, they would have got one. Why do you wait until the final week of the window to try and sign Ollie Watkins? Literally the same day John Duran was closing in on a £65 million switch to Al Nassr. Surely the Gunners board had to realise that Villa were not going to sell both strikers on the same day, so launching a 60 million bid, less money than what Villa had accepted for Duran. Was this just to appease the fans? Did they really think that Villa were going to say yes hours before a Champions League night against Celtic? I don't know, the timing of this was just very silly. I already think this Watkins bid was all for show. A bit like how they once tried to sign Luis Suarez. I think it was fake. 16th Liverpool. Liverpool have done nothing. Absolutely nothing. But they didn't need to do anything. Liverpool fans don't need to freak out. What, do you want a signing just for signing's sake? Just a new toy to get you all excited? You don't need one. Not in January. You're top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League. You don't need a newbie. You haven't lost anyone. You didn't cave and sell Trent Alexander-Arnold to Real Madrid. So no, this has been fine. Relax. 15th Fulham. Willian. Fulham have signed Willian. That's it. a Willian who turns 37 years old this summer. He is halfway to 74. Oh, well done, Willian. Seriously. Willian. 14th Chelsea. Chelsea haven't really done anything but trim their squad a little. Left backs Renato Vega and Ben Chilwell are both out on loan. The two unwanted CCs, Kesar Casadei and Carney Chukwuemeka, have both left the building. Axel Disasi's gone to Aston Villa on loan. And weirdly, João Felix has been loaned out to AC Milan. Lads, this guy is the 4th most expensive player in the world still, costing Atletico Madrid over £100 million 6 years ago. The fact he's since been both on loan at Chelsea and now out on loan from Chelsea, he's sort of like that luxury expensive puppy that nobody actually wants. But will Chelsea feel his absence and miss him? No. I think you would have missed Christopher Nkunku more, and you've kept him, so your window has been fine. 13th Nottingham Forest. Is this really Nottingham Forest, a club that resisted the urge to make a single signing all window long while sitting 3rd in the Premier League? What is going on? Seeing Forest fail to do a single deal, it's like seeing your alcoholic nan just drinking a Capri Sun at a wedding. What's going on? Look, okay, they have actually re-signed forgotten goalie Wayne Hennessy on a free after feeling sorry for him because nobody bothered to sign him after they released him 6 months ago. Yeah, this is a former Manchester City goalkeeper who has over 100 international caps. And now the football world has collectively decided that he's no better than a dead squirrel. Forest have done fine. 12th Brentford. Look, Brentford have kept Yohan Wissa. That's the big win here. And you've brought in a promising enough young Italian right back Michael Coyote on loan from Fiorentina. He's probably an upgrade on Matt Rorislev, who's gone on loan to Wolfsburg, right? Like, it's a marginal improvement. The slightest of improvements. Like going to the barber's and he cuts off one strand of hair. But it's an improvement. 11th, Man United. Yeah, Man United flushed out problem children Anthony and Marcus Rashford on loan, so that should be a plus. But Ruben Amorim needs a complete squad overhaul, and this is his first transfer window, and all you've given him is a left back. You're basically replacing Tyrell Malacia with Patrick Dorgu, a 20-year-old Denmark international left wing back from Malacca for £30 million. Yeah, he's a left wing back, so that's good, but he's only midway through the 2nd season of his life. He made his senior debut in football last season, and now he's already the 3rd most expensive fullback in the history of Manchester United. Are you sure? I mean, he was recently on the pitch for the Manchester United legend and David De Gea and lost 6-0. Look, it's probably a good signing, but Man United needs so much more. It's like someone being told to clean their messy room by their mum, and all they do is just put their cookie crumbs in the bin. Yeah, what about the rest of the mess? I'm pretty sure there's a dead cat under there. And don't even get me started on signing Aiden Heaven, because I just know he's going to have the most annoying football chant in the world.
Baby, you're all that I want when you're lying here.
I say it's awful. 10th, Wolves. Wolves have signed a lot of random players from France. Like £60 million paid for Reims centre-back Emmanuel Agbadou. In comes Marshall Munetsi, some midfielder from Liga. I honestly, I don't have a clue, so I'm just gonna put you 10th because you didn't sell Cunha. Honestly, I don't know. 9th, Bournemouth. I quite like Bournemouth's transfer window. Now, there's nothing too outrageous in here. Or is there? Because they brought in a USA wonderkid teenage centre-back, Matal Akinboni from DC United, who just happens to be the nephew of Sami Kufor, that legendary Bayern Munich centre-back who had a massively iconic strop on the pitch when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer scored that Champions League final winner. Yeah, apparently Kufor's nephew was actually offered a deal at Bayern Munich, but he chose not to come to Europe and stay in America instead. So he is one to watch. But the standout deal, bringing in 19-year-old Argentina under-20 international left-back Julio Soler, somebody who's represented his nation at the Olympics, somebody who was on the radar of both Liverpool and Manchester United, and Bournemouth, little old Bournemouth, have pinched him for just £6.6 million. Now I realise we shouldn't get too carried away with hyping up Argentinian left-backs, because Brighton got one last year, and so far, Valentin Barco is being passed around Europe like an airport Toblerone. Right now, the jury is kind of out on whether Barco is the real deal, or if he is just some overhyped fudge who looks like the love child of Ron Weasley and Podge Collins. So Soler, we don't know for sure, but I think it's an exciting one. 8th, Crystal Palace. So Crystal Palace have splurged £12 million on Millwall winger Romanese, who's a fairly decent talent for England under 20s. And they've managed to keep Mark Gahey for another transfer window, batting Tottenham's greedy hand away. Sure, they've lost Trevoh Chalobah back to Chelsea mid-season, which isn't ideal, but organising a neat little loan deal for Ben Chilwell is a cute little consolation for Chelsea stealing their centre-back. Lads, I know his career is in the mud, but hey, he's a £50 million Champions League winning left wing back, and you're getting him on loan at 28? Pretty tasty. 7th, Newcastle. Newcastle haven't signed a single sausage this month. So why are they so high in the list? Why? Because they finally got actual money from Mickey Almiron, somebody who had his day at Newcastle United, and during the 22-23 season, after Jack Grealish slagged him off, he was really, really good. But nowadays, he is just a burnt out sock puppet who is really allergic to using both feet, and you've managed to get £11 million for him? Lads, to put this in context, he was a club record signing from Atlanta United in 2019. You're telling me that after 6 years, they are able to send him back to where he came from and recoup more than 50% of a club record deal? That is amazing business. They've essentially managed to turn that club record deal into a mere £10 million signing. That is top business. And you know what else is? Sending Lloyd Kelly on loan to Juventus with an obligation to buy him for £15 million in the summer. Someone who Eddie Howe signed 6 months ago for free. £15 million for a centre-back who's been on the bench for the entire of 14 of the last 19 Premier League matches. And 3 of those 4 appearances were just 1 minute long. What Thiago Motta wants with Kelly, I have no clue. Maybe he was dared by the club chairman to try and find the most random and bizarre defender in the world. Seeing Kelly at Juventus, it was like seeing Boomsong at Juventus. Newcastle gave them both horrid centre-backs. What? But look, maybe he's only at the old lady to chase spires out of the canteen. Maybe he's only there to cook Del Piero his tea. But either way, £15 million is genius. 6th, Everton. Look, Everton could have probably done with a better transfer window, but they brought in one, Carlos Alcaraz, which is really annoying because he's a decent little player, and yet he's buried deep on the internet. Every time you Google his name, the first 5 Google pages are all about bleeding tennis. But look, he is a talented little gem. He looks slick enough for Southampton to turn a move to Juventus. All of that club have since proven that they will sign anyone with a polished haircut. But yeah, this midfielder left Southampton for Flamengo in August for €18 million, becoming the most expensive player in Flamengo's history. A club which once had Ronaldinho in their team. To get him on loan for Everton, I think he's a decent midfield signing. 5th, Ipswich Town. Ipswich Town are going down, but unlike the other 2 doomed promoted clubs, at least they are trying. They are really trying to get out of this mess by stuffing as many fancy toys in their trolley as they can. Winger Jadon Philogene coming in from Aston Villa for £15 million is a good buy and a good replacement for the injured Chidozie Ogbeni on the wing. West Brom goalie Alex Palmer is coming for just £2 million. They've loaned in Ben Godfrey from Atalanta, who, don't forget, yes, while he is no more exciting than the bowl of Jammy Dodgers, he did have a good season in defence for Everton last time out, and yeah, he was signed by the European champions. Sort of. Christ, what, last summer he was playing against Real Madrid. And the big one, a loan deal for Julio Enciso, one of the most technically gifted players in the league. I mean that. The 21-year-old Paraguay international is capable of scoring some absolute scorchers. This is like when Ipswich once signed Giovanni Dos Santos, just 6 months after he was scoring a La Liga hat-trick for Barcelona and being marketed as the next Ronaldinho. How have Ipswich managed to successfully try their luck with both South American skillsters? I mean, Dos Santos scored 4 goals in 8 games alone at Ipswich. I think Enciso could do something similar. Amazing deal. One of the best of the window. 4th, West Ham. West Ham have only made 1 signing this month. Evan Ferguson on loan. Are you for real? And a quiet little move that nobody has noticed. Well, Graham Potter has silently brought James Ward-Prowse back from his Forest loan spell. Ward-Prowse and Ferguson could potentially be an elite double act. That world-class delivery onto a future world-class striker's head. Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. Yes, it's only 1 deal short, but this one loan move has improved West Ham massively. This is an incredible transfer. Ferguson, he's gonna bust in about 10 goals at least before the season's done. 3rd, Tottenham. Mathys Tell. Are you kidding me? Actual Mathys Tell when you're 14th in the league? Wow! That is the biggest, most impressive Spurs coup since they managed to buy Rafael van der Vaart from Real Madrid in 2010. I have not been more blown away by a Spurs deal since that one. But at least back then, Spurs could actually offer that magical Dutch midfielder Champions League football. What can Postecoglou offer Tell other than a warm, sweaty hug? I don't know why this ridiculously talented 19-year-old French winger hasn't been getting minutes at Bayern Munich this season, considering he managed to smack in 10 goals last season at 18. Spurs could potentially line up with 2 exciting French wingers on either flank. Both kids born within 6 months of each other, both of whom have played under Vincent Kompany. Honestly, Odegaard and Tell could be the next Ribéry and Robben. Tell is pacey, saucily talented, he's a mini Mbappe. And Spurs have him? It's the Premier League deal at the window, just incredible. And yeah, your other first team buys, 12 million goalie Antonin Kinski, who's done fine in goal. And yeah, an initial loan deal for a long centre-back Kevin Danzo, with a £20 million obligation to buy. I mean, he's a strong, decent enough Australian international centre-back, I guess. But what if I told you? You might remember him from helping Southampton Everton lose 9-0 at home, whilst in their defence. Yeah, Van Dijk the sequel, he ain't. He barely played a minute for the Saints after that. So you are definitely signing someone who's most likely haunted by the Prem. He probably still has nightmares about that very match. Even just looking at James Maddison in training every day is going to be enough to cause him to fetch up his lunch. But still, tell. That's enough to put you third. Second, Man City. Man City have gone pretty wacky this month. Good. They needed to. £60 million for Frankfurt winger Omar Marmoush, one of the most informed players in the world, and a combined £60 million was splashed out on young centre backs Abkadir Kushanov and Victor Reis from Lens and Palmeiras. Definitely ones for the future. I mean, they could be anything. Although for everyone in the media proudly stating how Kushanov was the first person from Uzbekistan to ever play in the Premier League. Let me just ask you one question. Where was Peter Odemwingie born? And no, it wasn't in the QPR car park. But the game changer, the one which takes Man City above Spurs in the list, is the £50 million signing of Nico Gonzalez from Porto, who, yes, was one of the sparkling new toys spat out of La Masia in the last few years, coming through at Barcelona at the same time as Pedri and Gavi. Those two were the next Xavi and Iniesta, right? Well, Nico was Busquets. Pep Guardiola has probably been pretty envious of those Barcelona wonder kids coming through, because he probably thinks it's his birthright as a new camp legend that he should be the one coaching these promising mega stars. So the fact that Nico has managed to somehow fall into his lap, yeah, I think this one could be a huge buy. First, Aston Villa. Aston Villa have had a mega week. The most exciting transfer week of their history. Wow! They've won the transfer window, they have. Look, I thought that selling John Durant to Al Nassr was the wrong move, but are you telling me that in one January window alone, that Villa have signed Dutch international winger Daniel Malen from Borussia Dortmund for just £21 million? Someone who spanked in 15 goals at Dortmund last season. But look, a £60 million deal for a young Levante right back Andres Garcia is kind of good, I guess. But oh no, bringing in France international centre back Axel Disasi on loan from Chelsea, that is good. And borrowing Manchester United's Marcus Rashford. Forget the attitude problems, okay? He is filthily talented and is capable of scoring 30 goals a season. He is. I've seen him do it. Apparently Villa are paying 75% of his wages, which is £240,000 a week. That is a lot of money and an expensive risk. But forget the money. On paper, front three of Rashford, Malen and Watkins. That is devastating. But it doesn't stop there. Oh no, because if that wasn't good enough, and it is, you've signed Marco Asensio on loan. Is this real life? Imagine telling anyone in the summer of 2017 that Aston Villa would one day sign both Rashford and Asensio in the same week. Back in 2017, Asensio was scoring in a Champions League final while Rashford was getting compared to Mbappe, two of the best young players in the world at the time. Getting Asensio on loan from PSG is just bananas. Both Asensio and Rashford are forwards who have played a combined 712 times for Real Madrid and Manchester United, the two biggest clubs on earth. Asensio has won 3 Champions Leagues and he's at Villa Park. Is this real life? They've won the window by a mile. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Let me know in the comments section below. What do you think? All right, who's won the window? Let me know. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.